Good morning, Genesis. Let me just say right out of the gate that I couldn't be more grateful. I was a little nervous, to tell you the truth, when I asked Keely to sing with me, and she said yes right away. So thank you, Keely.
Of course.
I have a plaque on my studio wall that says, "What would you do if you knew you could not fail?" And I started thinking about that quite a bit. And then this song just kind of came to me. Hold up your hands for the world to see. Hold up your hands for you and me. There comes a time, no more will you tolerate. There comes a day when living small is a big mistake. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Would you shy away, or would you find your holy grail and hold up your hands for the world to see? Hold up your hands for you and me. Take a look around. You're standing on holy ground, right where you are. There's no better place to take you far. But can you open wide? Open up, enjoy the ride. Can you pay the price of letting go with all your might? And what? Hold up your hands for the world to see. Hold up your hands for you and me. 'Cause every time you find a way, everyone you can embrace, and every day you feel the strength, you make my world a better place. Hey, hey. There comes a time, there comes a day, yeah. Take a look around. Living small is a big mistake. Well, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Would you shy away, or would you find your holy grail? Hold up your hands for the world to see. Hold up your hands for you and me. Hold up your hands, hold up your hands, hold up your hands, hold up your hands, hold up your hands for the world to see, for you and me. See. Thank you so much.
So, we're talking about transforming your life, and the first gift is the principle of giving. And actually, Paul and I were talking about that in the car, and the song he was going to lead in with. And what I realized for the principle of giving, especially with this community, because giving is about, as David said, giving of your time, your talent, and your treasures. And if I were going to talk to this community about that, you all know how to do that. You're already great givers. And so what I'm going to talk about is giving up. Giving up those things about yourself that prevent you from being that clear channel of the divine. Because that's the truth of who we are. Each and every one of us is that divine essence in form. And yet, because we are very human, we like to say we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so what happens is we let our humanness take over. And when we do that, we block that good. Anytime that we're blocking our good, we are preventing that divine essence from truly speaking through us. And so how do we do that? What are we willing to give up? Now, I'm going to cover some things, and some of you may think, that doesn't pertain to me. I'm an overachiever, so I will tell you right now, they all pertain to me, and I practice giving them up all the time. Sometimes I'm really, really good, and sometimes not so much, right? We're not perfect on the essence of the human level. We are perfect, as David said in his prayer. There is a part of us that we identify as the soul that is perfect, whole, and complete, always has been and always will be, so certainly is right here and right now. And I'm talking to the humanness. What are we willing to give up so that which is perfect can shine brighter? So, as I was thinking of this, the first thing I thought of was, Cynthia, if you laugh, I swear. The need to be right and the need to control. Am I the only person in the room? Oh, thank you, David. So how often do we get in discussions with people where you realize in the discussion, we both have our opinion about this, and we both think we're right, and yet neither one of us is going to move. Have you ever been in arguments like that? They get louder, don't they? They get uglier sometimes. And so to really realize, would you rather be right or would you rather be love? Because it's a choice. Remember, we are always at choice. And so, being right might feel really good in the moment, but trust me, the other person that you're trying to prove that you're right to still doesn't agree with you. They may not tell you that. They might give up. They might turn around and walk away. They might just quit talking. It doesn't mean that they agree with you. And so what if we went into conversations and somebody said something and you disagreed? Well, am I just supposed to stand there? No, you can say, wow, that's an interesting thing that you believe in. Tell me more. What if we gave people an opportunity to really dig deep into why they believe what they believe instead of immediately making them wrong? What if you asked that simple question? Well, tell me more. Why do you think you believe that? I've asked people that before, and sometimes they don't know. Now, I wish I could tell you, like I said before, I was perfect at this. Not so much. There's a part of me, and I don't know if it's about being right, or there's a part of me that just likes to argue. Because there's a part of me that likes drama. And you create drama by getting into arguments. And so the first step is just recognizing, what am I doing here? What part of me is being fed here? Is it my spiritual self, or is that very human self that just wants to cause a little bit of drama today because she's not feeling quite right, and if she causes drama, woohoo! Not that things are right, but the energy's been lifted up. I feel a little bit more engaged. So this is something that I've had to recognize about myself. That I kind of like drama sometimes. I'm not proud of it, and it's just a fact. Am I alone? Oh, yay. Because, sometimes I think, wow, maybe nobody... Anyway, so criticizing or complaining, to give that up. And criticizing people, normally when we criticize someone, first of all, there are very few of us that criticize people face to face. We used to do it just behind their backs. And now, God bless social media. We do it on social media Because there's nothing better than criticizing somebody and they have no idea who you are. Or you're criticizing somebody and you live in Seattle and they live in, Peru. Think about that. This one I might criticize. I don't use social media to do that. And I have become better about keeping my criticisms to myself. I used to really think I was the fashion police. And if some of you have seen me on my really good days, I have no business carrying that card. Don't come here during the week when I'm working out, I'm just saying. So, we criticize. We criticize, why? Because it makes us feel better. My husband just yelled at me, so I'm going to criticize this person over here because now I'm better than that person. He doesn't do that, by the way, so whatever story you've got, it's not true. But criticizing and then complaining. I was at SOAR, which is a national event that our organization has once a year. And this year it happened to be at Asilomar State Park, which is in Northern California, and it's where Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, started these retreats. And they are nationwide, worldwide. People come in from all over the place. And there were 535 of us. There used to be a time when there'd be 1,000 people that all believed in this philosophy, and they'd come together, and it's literally, it was 4 days of music and people speaking and sharing meals with everybody. It was amazing. And one of the speakers was David Bruner. And David, before he started, handed out little blue bands. And they didn't say complaint-free world. They said spiritual, not religious. And every once in a while, I will post on Facebook, back to day one. So as David was speaking, how many of you don't know about a complaint-free world? Okay, complaint-free world was started by Will Bowman. And what he said was, wouldn't it be wonderful if people didn't complain? And so the challenge is you get yourself one of these little beautiful rubber band bracelets. And you go through your day and everything's great. And then somebody cuts you off on the freeway. Because my community knows that's the first place I go when I want to talk about complaining. And when I do, I get to switch the bracelet to the other hand. Now, David has shared that he's had to replace his bracelet because it either has become too big or it's been broken. I'm not sure if it was broken from wear or broken from frustration. However, when he was talking, what he said to everybody is, we have been doing this as a community since June. I am on day 2. Now think about that. Because every time you complain, you start over. So, and it's supposed to be a 21-day process. I have done this before. I have not seen 21 days yet. Just so you know. And I am back on day 1. But imagine if we had a complaint-free world, especially for you people who are really members of this community, and we know everything is energy. So if everything's energy when I'm complaining, first of all, I'm seeing myself in whatever I'm complaining about, correct? Because if it wasn't in me, I couldn't see it. That's frightening sometimes, isn't it? When you think about some of the things you've complained about in your life, it's like, oh, poo. So when you see something and it sparks a button in you that makes you complain, guess what? Own it. Because there's something in you that hasn't been healed. Now, it might not be the exact same thing, and energetically, it's a match. It is a match made in heaven. So to really practice not complaining. And the first step, as Will says in his book, is just to, when you start to complain, zip it. There's less energy if you let it bounce around in your mind than if you express it out to the world. So just taking a breath. Taking a breath. The other thing that I want to give up is fear. How many of you have fear around things in your life that you know you should be doing, right? And yet there's something that in you that says, oh, I'm so much more comfortable just playing at this level of life. You know, things aren't bad. They aren't necessarily great, but they aren't bad. I'm cruising along. Yeah, and some of us are afraid to raise our hand even. So remembering that fear is, help me because my mind went blank, false evidence appearing real. Every time your brain tells you you're not good enough, you're not young enough, you're not old enough, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you haven't got enough schooling. That is, you can call it your ego, you can call it your subconscious mind. That's all the stories you've been told all your life about why you shouldn't do something. And the people that told you that were not bad people. They were people who really thought they were looking out for your highest and best. They were trying to protect you. And as a young child, no matter what a parent says, that child is making up a story. And that story can build a reality for that person for the rest of their life until they realize, well, wait a minute. That's not necessarily true. Somebody asked me recently, how did I get the calling? And I've been in classes and things with a lot of people that was, when I was 3 years old, this happened when I was 16, and God and I have a funny relationship. I was tricked into this. And I was tricked in it because I lacked so much confidence that when I went through the prerequisite and took all the classes, somebody said to me, Reverend Suzie thinks you'd make a great practitioner. I thought, okay, I'll do that. And I went to interview to see if I qualified to become a practitioner. And I went in, and there were 2 people sitting there. I thought Suzie and I were just going to hang out. There was another minister there, and they're talking to me, and I'm talking to them. And then they asked me to leave the room, and I thought, that's strange. And then I come back in, and they said, you've been accepted into practitioner class. I thought, really? This was an interview? Because if I had known, I wouldn't have shown up. If I had known at the end of practitioner training I was going to have to panel in front of 3 people, I never would have taken the test. If I'd known, now trust me, for you people that don't come here on Sunday, people here are going to find this funny. If I'd known as a practitioner I was going to have to stand up on stage on a Sunday and do a reading and say a prayer. Now, I'd been sitting in church for 3 years. I'd watched practitioners all 3 years. Why I thought I was going to get a pass, I had no idea. But I thought, certainly, I'm not going to have to do that. And the same happened with ministerial school. It's just, for me, my calling was like little breadcrumbs. And so our calling is whatever that looks like for us. And to realize every single one of you has a calling. Now, some call it purpose. However, I just read something and it sounded very real to me. It may to you or not. I think our purpose is to be here to breathe and be kind. That's our purpose. Every single one of us. Some of us have a lot to learn. But I think ultimately it is to breathe and to be kind and to show love to other people and to give up all this other stuff. I think our passion we confuse with a purpose. And I believe every one of you has a passion. And if you're not living it, it's out of fear. It's that little voice inside of you. Could be your mother, could be your father, could be a sibling, could be a teacher you had. Somebody has told you and you believed it. And once you believed it, guess what? circumstances are going to support that belief until you change it. I have said this more than once. Trust me. How many years now? 17 years ago, I wouldn't have known any of you. I had a whole different crowd of people that I used to hang out with. And trust me, we didn't show up on Sunday. I changed who I was so I could see you and I could be seen by you. And those other people just dropped away. Because as one person said to me that I had grown up with, we can't be friends anymore. We don't have anything in common. And at first, it was like she'd put a dagger in my heart. And then I thought, it was the kindest thing she could have said to me. Because if I'd tried to maintain a friendship with her and maintain my sobriety, something would have given up. And it probably wouldn't have been the sobriety. So God bless her for her brilliance. How about your past? How many of you have portions of your past that you live over and over and over again in your mind? Yeah. Can you change it? So what if instead of trying to change it, you looked for what the blessing was? Now, for some people, they may have had a horrific past, and I've just sucked the air out of their lungs. So everybody take a deep breath with me first. So here's the thing. If there's abuse involved at all, and you're like, there was no good in that, you're absolutely right. And you still don't want to relive your past. You still do not want to carry that person with you. They did their damage. And the only way you're going to be a clear channel for the divine, and the only way you are going to really express yourself fully, is to breathe in and say, I bless you, whatever their name was, and when you breathe out, I accept you. Because remember, like you, there is some place within that person that is whole, complete, and perfect. There is nobody on this planet that has gotten a pass from being part of the divine. Nobody. And if you keep reliving your past, that person that has already done despicable things still has control. Think about that. It's like, good grief. Get off of me. Get out of my mind. Now, is that easy work? Not necessarily. It takes a lot of compassion of self, and it takes a deep understanding of who you are and why you're here and how you want to live your life. And I highly recommend that if this is something you want to move through, that you see me or one of the practitioners or one of the other ministers here. Because we will walk through that with you without judgment, without criticism. Because that's part of how we were trained, to see the divine in everything, everywhere. Now, I will tell you, as practitioners and ministers, we see practitioners and ministers because sometimes you can't see the forest from the tree. So it's always good to check in. And then what about your attachments and your expectations? How many of you have expectations of other people? How's that working for you? Yeah. It was one of the discussions Paul and I had on our very first date, when we finally decided, oh my goodness, this is going to go somewhere. Literally, first date. We laugh because we say we really didn't date at all, but I'll call it a first date. And the discussion was, we will be absolutely honest with each other. We will communicate with each other. Because the worst thing you can do in any relationship, and especially in a relationship with another person that is your love, is get expectations in your head. Anybody got that movie going on? And you forget to tell them what part they're playing. And then you get all mad and riled up because they're not living up to something that you, I don't know if we think we've told them what we expect. But be honest. It's part of this humanness. It's part of our divinity to be honest with each other. And sometimes that can be painful, right? It's not always easy to be honest. Now, I am not saying to be honest to somebody that you walk up to and go, oh, wow, you look like you've gained 30 pounds since the last time I saw you. That's an opinion. You can keep that to yourself. I am talking about critical conversations with people where you choose to tell just a little white lie. Or you don't tell them, yeah, I really am mad at you, and this is why I'm mad at you. So I will tell you, because I met Paul 7-8 months into my sobriety. And so I told him, you have to understand, I'm going to have a lot of stuff that I am going to say to you that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with all of the relationships I had in the past. But if I don't express it, I am going to make up a story, and one day you'll come home and your stuff will be on the front porch and you won't know what the heck happened. Because my husband happens, I guess I can share this, my husband happens to like women in 3-inch heels. He gets to their feet. I swear to God, I don't have to worry about him looking anywhere else. It's their feet. Why I wear heels. And so the first couple of times it happened, I was freaking out, right? Because I had all of that past stuff of what had happened to me in prior relationships. And I would talk to him about it, and he would talk to me about it. And finally, guess who points out the heels to him now? I do. Honey, did you see her? Now, if somebody finds that sexist, I apologize. It's how we relate to each other. And it's our relationship. So, are you ready to really be that channel for the divine? Are you ready to really be a spiritual being having a human experience? Because if you are, you need to start giving up all the stuff that keeps little bits of darkness in your body. Little bits of blocks. Because remember, the divine is a channel. It's one channel. It's not like, oh, here's my abundance channel, here's my relationship channel, here's my work channel. It's one channel. And whenever you criticize, whenever you complain, whenever you get attached to things, whenever you have an expectation of somebody that you haven't told them about, whenever, you are blocking that channel, which means you are blocking your good. And so to really clear that out, you need to just know, wow, I really screwed up there. I'll do better. I'm not going to promise you that I'm even going to be 100% at this. Maybe there are people, Dalai Lama, probably. Desmond Tutu, maybe. I don't know them personally. I do know by the expression and the light that you see in them, probably they've got this down. And the rest of us, we can too. We just need to practice. We need to catch ourselves. And we need to go, whoops, I'll do better next time. So let's pray. Mother, Father, God, Spirit, right here and right now, I just open up to that divine channel. I open up to that divine essence, the truth of who I am, knowing that I am God in form, that if I am, then I know that is true for everyone here, for all things everywhere. There truly is not a spot that God is not. And so in knowing this and claiming this as my good that is God, I know right here and right now, with humor, with love, with compassion, I start to look at what I am willing to give up. To really set aside those habits, those personality quirks, those things that no longer truly serve me. To just give them up and set them aside. And as I do that, I know that I am clearing this channel, allowing this bright light that is God to work its magic in and through and as me, in and through and as all of you. And so knowing this is the truth right here and right now, I claim for each one of us that we don't beat ourselves up when we make a misstep. We just notice. And we say to ourselves, I'll do better. I know for each one of us, if we choose, we get ourselves a little rubber bracelet to remind us our practice is not to complain and to laugh at ourselves every time we have to move it from one wrist to the next. I know that as we do this, we create a world that works not only for us, it works for everybody. And that truly is who we are and why we're here. To notice, to be seen, to be heard, and to notice and see and hear others. So that is my knowing right here and right now as I give thanks for this day, this wisdom, these people, and this center. I turn all of these words over knowing that as it is spoken, it is done. The universe has already said yes. And in that yes, I am so grateful. I let go, I let God, and together we say, and so it is.
I wrote a song that I just wanted to remind myself that we're way more alike than we are different. Man plants a seed, and the seed cracks open. The rain comes down and asks no questions. Burning in the heat of his hopes, his dreams. The sun beats down and asks no questions. We all spill one color red, and the rain don't fall on one man's head. Look at me from the inside out. We all spill one color red, yeah. One color red. How far can you see? Two holes caught in a sheet. Well, who are you keeping out? Who are you keeping in, yeah? Well, ignorance points the finger, and anger pulls the trigger. But bullets never ask no questions. 'Cause we all spill one color red, and the rain don't fall on one man's head. Look at me from the inside out. We all spill one color red, yeah, yeah, yeah. One color red. Man plants a seed, and the seed cracks open. The rain comes down and asks no questions. And burning in the heat of his hopes, his dreams, the sun beats down and asks We all spill one color red. The rain don't fall on one man's head. Look at me from the inside out. Close your eyes and put the fire out. Yeah, 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 yeah. One color red. One color red. Red, red. One color red. We all spill 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 one color red.